Hi, welcome to the Discourse, where we touch on trendy macroeconomic issues, both domestically and globally. I think one of the interesting things, particularly as it pertains to the Russia-Ukraine conflict, is it has created a very interesting scene when it comes to energy. And you look at Brent crude, for instance, it has stayed above $100 per barrel for most of this year. But I think what is really interesting for me has to do with the oil companies and also countries that are heavy on oil exportation. Look at the likes of, say, an ExxonMobil, a Chevron in the United States, record profits for most of the year. Even if you look locally, you see the likes of a Seplat, record profits also. And the stock price has been quite rewarding for people that hold the investment in their portfolio. But then I think over the weekend, one of the things that we noticed was the numbers from Saudi Aramco. You know, their earnings were remarkable for the second quarter of 2022. I think they posted a 90% growth in their profits, which takes it somewhere above $48 billion. So that begs the question, our motherland, our dear Nigeria, how's it faring? We are dependent on oil export. I hope we're sharing in the global cake also.
I mean, Afolabi, interesting discussion point. A 90% profit puts them at about, I think, $48 billion thereabouts. I think to more or less evaluate the quantum of this particular topic we are talking about today, you look at what we need to finance ourselves for 2022.
Yes.
We're looking at about roughly 17 trillion thereabouts. If you put that in dollar terms, probably looking at some $41 billion thereabouts. And you have a state-owned oil and gas company churning out this, a profit that can very much service the entire needs of Nigeria. To put it in context, that includes your subsidy. I mean, it's very, very interesting. And again, for us, we've seen oil prices rally significantly, like you rightly mentioned, but you have a country that has just been unable to cash in on this opportunity. So again, look at the two variables. Prices are going up. You have countries ramping up capacity, right, to be able to, basically cash in. But then you have Nigeria performing, dismally when it comes to production. I think OPEC actually raised our quota, I think about 1.9 million barrels per day. And you can't even imagine how much we are doing right now, just below 1.3 million barrels. For me, that is a far cry from our potentials. If you look at how issues like pipeline vandalism and oil thefts, has accounted for a very large chunk of this, loss in revenue that the country has seen in recent times. I mean, speaking about this data point shows you how much work still needs to be done. I'd like to reference what the PIB tries to offer and the kind of restructuring you're seeing in the reformed NNPC. Right? For me, the key question, I think I'd also like you to jump in here. Would this privatization help the NNPC?
I think what is really important is how they implement the process. On paper, it looks good. They are going to privatize it. Let's see what they do. They even touted the possibility of getting it listed, meaning they get accountable to the public. That's the highest level of exposure a company can get when you become a publicly quoted company. And that's a big step.
Yeah, it is, right? But again, they are just a state-owned company, right? The bulk of the work still happens in the upstream end, where you have to get this crude to refineries. So the question again is, do you have the capacity to ramp up production? Number one. Do you have the required infrastructure to actually refine this product? So that puts another question to the conversation. But like you mentioned, it remains to be seen what the expectation would be for them. And I think to just put a closing remark on my end, Nigeria is indeed blessed. If you look at our capacity, about 2.2 million barrels thereabouts. Imagine we are doing roughly around 1.9 thereabout right now, with oil price around, what are we looking at today? Just about $100 per barrel. You can imagine how much volume we can pull in terms of revenue. So I think for me, we just wait and see how these reforms come to place.
Well, interestingly, based on the current situation,
based on
what we're seeing right now, higher oil prices, is it a positive or a negative for us? Would we do better if prices went low? So at the very least, diesel costs don't shoot up and kill us by way of higher prices?
Yeah, the truth of the matter is a chicken and egg kind of approach, right? So the government needs revenues, right? And where do they get these revenues from? Is from being able to sell. If you have refineries that are producing most of these things, the bulk of the cost, which is usually around the freight and other payments made to these importers, you have it to a very large extent eradicated. And these are some of the key points that we need to address. It's not going to happen in the short term, but I'd like to see a government that is more responsive, especially in the medium to long term, putting this infrastructure in place and seeing us, ramp up capacity. And not praying for another Russia-Ukraine crisis, but should events like this come up again,
be another global
we're able
shock
to cash in, significantly on it. I think that's just my take on this particular subject matter going forward, right?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, so crude prices elevated, good for some, should be good for us, but we haven't done what it takes to leverage, so we're in this situation. I guess that's it.
Yeah, thanks.
Let's stay optimistic.
Yeah, we'll stay optimistic.